Good morning, ADOS. Good morning, YouTube subscribers. Good morning, community. This is Harper. I'm here again, and I want to talk about. We are now talking about the wars that are in our country and global wars. And we should be in business with other countries. We should be in the politics. We got other people in the country. We know that. We got the Jews over here going through their situation, being assassinated in their worship services. The Jews, one Jew guy was talking about how the white supremacists is coming in there shooting them, and everybody pretty much is fighting over the wealth that we produced as slaves, that we produced, and people are holding on to generational wealth and getting access to wealth and power, getting access to power, and now they're basically fighting over it. And then we got Venezuela, where we have to want to step in and help Venezuela. And I really appreciate the president basically forcing them people to stand up to their own country. And the system force, because instead of running over here, that's what they've been doing. They don't stand up to their own government. They run over here, then they stand up to our government. Because the slave descendants in this country have made it plush throughout fighting for laws for them. It's plush over here. So you can stand up to our government and not necessarily get killed or dealt with because we got laws passed. We got laws passed. And so they get over here and do that, but they don't reckon with us, the descendants of slavery. They don't say, well, when it comes times for a movement or anything to do with us, they sit back or they still sit behind, sit in their businesses, the Sausalitas. The Jews go to their, not mosques, but they go to their religious place. They don't pray for us or reckon with us. We don't see none of these people. The Asians, they continue to sell their stuff. They get out the way. They try to keep you from looting. But we don't see these people standing up for us. But these are the people who come over here and be a part of our system and take advantage of the laws that we put in place. And that's what's going on right now. They're constantly doing it. And they trying to figure out where do they exist inside our system, inside our laws. So the Jews pretty much figured it out. That's why they got reparations. They came over here for safety, for refuge, and then they got citizenship in 1965 through the Immigration Act. And that was forced through us, Martin Luther King Jr. regime. So they found their place. The Asians found their place. They are considered to be smart because they, study a lot longer and a lot harder. Because I did a study on them and I looked them up. They do stick together. They are forced. These people that come from other nations are forced to stick together. It's not because they're any better than we are. We have been divided by slave psychologists. This man was a doctor. They shipped him around. They understood the language. They understood the rhetoric of this man, Willie Lynch, and what it would do to a race of people. He said 300 to 400 years, give or take, they will be still slaves in their minds. This is the statement. So a lot of people don't believe this is true. They think it's a fallacy. This is not a fallacy. This is real. So the minds of the slaves were colonized, and those were my ancestors, people who lost self-interest or didn't know how a world exists outside of them, because they were too busy feuding with each other and being separated throughout slave psychologists. And however, there was constituents that he had that were actually slave owners and slave traders, as though they would go on and hold up the baton of his rhetoric and his teachings. And that's Willie Lynch. So we were divided. Our ancestors were divided. They knew division. And as much as we've been divided, we still came back. We still got our culture. We got the black religion is a culture nobody else got. We formed the gospel choirs and everything. Sound like beautiful waves of the wind of the ocean. We formed all of that. We are the backbone of shows like Family Reunion, and we have a culture. No matter how much they tried to divide us, we still came back. But yet Because we were inserted in that way, it did affect us. And because we were not in power, it was a power source. So it affected us. So every other group that come here that deals with white supremacy, that can overshadow, they're not us. They building off of who we are. They come in here off of what status we have introduced to this society. And they're saying they're us until they get capital. And when they even some of them live in the hoods right now. A lot of immigrants live in the hood. All of them. When they come here, they get little houses in the hood. They stay to themselves. They get a gas station somewhere, and before you know it, they gone. This is what happens. So those Venezuelan people flooding the area need to stand up to their own government. They have a home. I don't hate them. They have a home. The Bible says charity begins at home and then it's spread abroad. So they need to take care of their own home and make it plush. We fought for these laws and everybody else coming here taking advantage of it while we are still subject as bottom feeders throughout the society, throughout the democracy, and business and stuff. So that's what we're doing. So we definitely going to have reparations because the generational wealth, you can't give me no job and say that that's it. I don't want no job. Don't force me into servitude. My positionality is not to serve. I can get a job if I want one, if I need a duty. That's the same thing y'all do. Get a job if you want one or take a better job. We understand that. But what it is that I need a space of refuge. I don't have no sanctuary city either. Even though I was a slave, we came from slaves in this country, of enslaved people. So we have the element of the debris of being something less, according to the United States of America. And you tell me you're going to give me a job? No, I want my inheritance. I want my reparations. I want my inheritance. The money you stole, I want the money that you forced my ancestors off their land. I want my due diligence. I want my advantages. I want my opportunity. Those are my opportunities you guys are holding. So that I can be a part of this race. So that I can be a part of the American dream. And I can get a job, but I still need my reparations because that's going to buy me a house. That's going to buy me some land. That may protect my laws, protect my taxes. I won't have to pay taxes because I was descendant of slavery. And everybody else holding on to billion-dollar generation, billion-dollar blood money, wealth that hasn't been divided properly and withheld from me and denied as a poor people in this system. I want my check. And I want my laws protected. That's business also. Not asking you for nothing. We making you give it to us. We're not asking for anything. We're trying to be civilized. That's what we're doing. So when somebody say we asking the white man for something, that's not what we're doing. We being civilized about it first. You give me what belongs to me. And stop talking about these other people and reckoning with these other countries and these poor people in these countries. And when you got people in your own country you have not dealt with properly and that you have committed a crime against. The United States is in debt. Pay your bills. This is a debt owed to my people, me and my people. This is what we're talking about. Other groups over here fighting each other or fighting their situation because they have basically been able to come here in terms of how we got the law set up. A lot of folks don't zero in to this. Last night I was watching CNN on purpose to see exactly what they was talking about, the Jews and all this, white supremacy and all this. Anderson Cooper come from money, probably blood money. Okay? His family be billion trillionaires. He don't even have to be on CNN. Don Lemon do. Don Lemon need to be on CNN. That's a job for him. So when you got the Jewish men talking about what happened to them, that's good. Report on the stories. But how did they exist here? Never nobody asked them, what do you think about the laws that has been put in place through African American marches and wars? You benefiting from that. How do you feel about that? Can you explain that? They don't ask these questions. It's like these people supposed to be in here benefiting off of us. And that's how they got rich. Coming here because we fought for them. Okay, there was an Immigration Act in 1965 that let these people here. And then they got amnesty and stuff. And that's okay. I'm not hating on them, but what I'm trying to say is we have made it possible for everybody, and we haven't even got reparation. We haven't even got our due in this society. So it's time for us to pick up the baton and stand together and do diligence. This is about being unity. This is about being unified. The reason we do these commentaries is to let y'all know what's going on and to be unified. This is for my community. This is my divine existence. This is my divine purpose. That's why I'm doing these talks. Tone Talk and all of us, I appreciate you. I love you. You're my brothers and sisters. We can go to a function together. We together. All of us. We don't have time to be separated right now. That ain't time. Like I said on my last talk, it is not time for black people to be saying, well, I go home and mind my own business. That's not time for you to do that. We are at war for our lives and for our bills and for our rights. We are at war. It ain't time for you to go home and mind your own business. This ain't the season for that. Subscribe to my channel if you have not. This is Harper with Community First. I am going to continue to talk to you because it's very imperative and very important that we stay on code and we go forward. We stay on code. Cut the check. Cut the check.